Hey, welcome back to Bandwagon fans. This is Jeff and
Jason.
hey, tonight we are. Let's see, which camera am I looking at? All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about Chapter 10 of The Mandalorian, and I think from here on out we're going to go with the chapter names rather than the season and episode.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. Chapter 10. This was. I don't even know where to start on this.
Picked up right after the last episode, on its way back with the armor.
So basically, a quick synopsis. Mando and the kid, or the child, Baby Yoda, just left the crate dragon, speeding back through Tatooine. They get intercepted. This is actually a fun little scene. We'll talk about it a little more here in a moment.
Sure.
And then, fun little scene. And then Mando goes back to Mos Eisley.
I'm guessing because it looked just like the cantina.
Definitely the cantina, the Star Wars cantina. And again, totally going to forget that character's name. The same moment that we were struggling with it from Chapter 9.
Yeah.
And he goes on another fetch quest. Well, this isn't a fetch quest. This was a...
Yeah, pretty much, they rendezvous with... we'll just call her
Escort
Candy.
Escort quest.
Yeah, I forget the actress's name.
If you know role playing games like Skyrim, there's always the escort quest where you have to take somebody from point A to point B without killing them.
Yeah. And
highlight of the show, without Baby Yoda eating all of the customers' babies.
But I liked when they get in. First off, they arrive and it's Mos Eisley. And from the very beginning, you see him walking in the cantina. It's very reminiscent of episode 4. You can see the Jawas hanging out in the front. And he goes in there, and she's playing cards with this giant ant man. We'll just call him, he was Dr. something. It was like a nickname she was giving him. And again, is it prosthetics? Not CGI. It was like an actual, built.
Right.
Because they've really been doing that, with this. Yeah. But, she they were playing cards, and, that's basically what it was she arranged for a deal for transportation for a salamander
person.
Like race with her eggs, right? And, what was really kind of the constant theme with the eggs was the child kind of finding them pretty tasty.
So salamander person has an incubator.
Like a tub, an incubator tub. Mm-hmm.
Almost reminiscent of Jabba the Hutt's little fishbowl.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like this glass container with liquid, but instead of the little frog things, it had these eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And Baby Yoda kept eating them, which was quite adorable.
Yeah.
First off, Baby Yoda was an active participant in this chapter.
Yeah, you did get a lot more action from the Yoda, not just like the last episode. I think we talked about how the Baby Yoda scenes kind of felt like they were spliced in almost.
Right.
Yeah. In this one, he's very much a part of the action going on.
And this chapter is called The Passenger.
Okay.
Directed by Peyton Reed. And I think Peyton Reed, if I'm not mistaken, is the Ant-Man director. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got the ant in the bar.
Yeah.
So there you go. Maybe that was a little wink, wink.
Yeah, probably continuing to develop Peyton Reed for future Marvel projects.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Amy Sedaris, Pele Mato.
Amy Sedaris.
We got it early on this time.
Again, yeah, it's like I always just remember Strangers with Candy. I watched that every week when it was on. So, she's great. But, so... Get the passenger. One of the stipulations was that they couldn't do the hyperdrive.
Yes, they had to go sublight, which is
something about the incubation.
Sublight is now a thing in Star Wars.
Right. Well, we're just going with new themes here.
Yeah. So I think one thing I noticed while we're watching it, you started to be a little more sour on this show, and I'm starting to become more accepting of what it is.
I think what it was for me was last week. It was so exciting with the Boba Fett thing, and again, I think I pointed it out. It was a personal kind of, of course, I love that.
Yeah.
And this one, it seemed like, you know, even though I didn't have a problem with it, it seemed like kind of what you were having. It's like, yeah, we were opposite this week than we were last week.
Yeah.
Like last week, it seemed like you were wasting your time. This week, it just seemed like I wasn't wasting my time, but it's like I could have done with maybe another episode, you know, one or two more. You know, it was kind of just like this episode was very much contained in the point that it was just thwarting off, you know, 3 bounty hunters at the very beginning.
Right.
But then he goes right to the Gantino, and the rest of the episode is just him trying to get to this destination.
Yeah, the escort mission.
And kind of like how they kind of swayed off. On the way there, 2 X-Wings side by side kind of come up representing the New Republic, saying that there's new jurisdiction, and, you know, he needed to bring up paperwork. One of the X-Wing fighters, pilots, was Pablo Hidalgo, which all the Star Wars fans know he's a major part of the show. The other one, he was very familiar looking, the Asian actor, but I can't place him. But
let me see if I can see.
Almost as if like I've known him from things years ago, maybe, because he did seem like
Dave
an older
Filoni.
gentleman. Was that Dave? No, Dave Filoni, not Pablo. Pablo Hidalgo is Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni was one of the Captain Fire. The other one might have been Paul Sun Hyung Lee.
Okay, there we go.
Paul Sun, yeah.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I got those 2 names, Pablo and Dave, mixed up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sure.
So, I think, all right, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Try to imagine a world where you didn't see season 1, right? You don't really know what the overarching story is. Just from these 2 episodes, chapter 9, chapter 10, can you say what the freak this story is?
No.
And that to me is still in it. So I'm okay. I kind of mentioned that this is almost like A-Team for me.
Okay.
Like every week it's a new story, and every story is contained.
Exactly.
And you know what? I can fall in line with that, and I can appreciate the story for being that. But there is an overarching story going on, but they haven't even introduced what that story is yet.
No, it's like it's 10 episodes in and we still don't have all the clues as to the child. I mean, that's on purpose, I'm sure, but it's, you know, when you're used to even a Star Wars thing being kind of contained in like, you know, 1 to 3 movies.
Right.
Yeah, it gets frustrating, and I can understand if a lot of people this season are kind of holding out for a more collected visual, you know, viewing experience.
Yeah, that was something you mentioned a couple times that you think the ratings for this are down, and ratings for YouTube channels talking about this, like we're trying to do, are down. I have no idea what's going on. I think the biggest issue right now is just the election, and that's kind of driving outside of core fans. Sure. The election has been driving everybody's attention. But there might be something too, like, if it keeps going like this, I don't know how much I would stay invested in it, because it's like, and also if you can take or leave every week, sure, then why are you tuning in every week?
Well, also too, I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan, but even I waited for season 1 to be completely over, and I binged it, and I loved it. And then when I talked to you about season 1, you were kind of like, because you were doing it week to week. Yeah. And there's something to be said about binging a complete season. Right. You know what I mean? So, I think, you know, like with season 1, I think when this is complete and it's its full season, it's just going to turn out to be like the second part of maybe what is a 3-part story, only instead of 3 movies, it's 3 seasons. Yeah. You know, I mean, when this is all said and done, it's probably going to be at least 30 chapters.
I really, if it's going to be every episode is a contained story, like an A-Team, like a Mando and the Kid, that was the show, right? Mando and the Kid. If it's going to be like that, then just do it.
Yeah, well, you're the lone wolf and
yeah. Mando and the Kid is the slang for this show. Yeah.
A lot, yeah. I mean, the American Shogun Assassin was a condensed version of 2 of the films, but the original series was 5 films. Yeah, and each film kind of built up to the next adversary. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what they're doing here with this. Even with the Man with No Name trilogy, you go back and you watch those 3 movies, and they were pretty much, they're condensed. They're like self-contained stories. but it's a great trilogy. But you can watch, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or A Few Dollars More, A Fistful of Dollars on its own, and they're great movies. So I think what they're trying to do is you're going to have like a connected story when it's all done. But I think each season it's going to be its own build to something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So what were some highlights from the show for you this time around for chapter 10?
All right. Obviously, the child was a lot more engaging and entertaining in this one. The egg thing, the theme of him having the eggs. First off, the child discovering the eggs, and then the Mandalorian discovering he's eating them, and then the mom. There's that one scene where she's kind of like holding on to her eggs because she's wise to what he's doing, and then the very end, how like you see the child take out an egg that he was hiding, So I thought that was a really nice theme going forward. I liked this new Arctic planet. So what happened was after the ordeal with the X-Wings, he kind of dove down into a new planet. What did we get the name? Looks a lot like Hoth, but instead of wampas, they experienced these Arctic arachnids. That was really great. I really liked the aesthetic of the mother, with the mouth and the eyes. I really liked the way that this spider looked. Had kind of a enlonged mouth that kind of opened up and had these like spiral circular veined teeth. That was really neat looking. Other than that, just kind of, this episode was just kind of like them crashing, experiencing arachnids, and getting out.
Yeah. Yeah, so from the beginning of the episode, I thought the little ambush scene was kind of cool.
That was nice,
and it was cool. He had that creative use of his backpack. So there's the one guy who was left alive and threatening, had the baby Yoda,
and he was a little guy and kind of spoke like a Jawa. I wonder if he was from I thought they were trying to go for a Jawa without the hood. Yeah, that's what it kind of appeared to.
Yeah, so he's got Baby Yoda at knife point. Mando works out a deal where Mando gets the child back.
One little nugget. You Buck Rogers fans out there, the other two guys, one was a Nikto alien. I don't know the species, but it looked like Nikto. The other guy, even though you didn't see a lot of them, just from what I saw with the bald, with the mustache, with the way he looked, really reminded me of Tiger Man from the Buck Rogers series from the late 70s. I just wanted to throw that in there. Yeah. Thought it right there, But yeah. So anyway, with the backpack,
it was a fun little scene where he was like, "Okay, yeah, you can have my backpack. Give me the kid." Little Jabba guy goes running off with the backpack, and Mando just uses remote control, shoots him in the air.
Yeah,
and then.
It's totally reminiscent of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where Pee-wee knew Francis was going to be, shot from the bike,
Yeah. So it also reminded me of again, an RPG reference. It kind of reminded me of the beginning of Morrowind when you first encounter somebody that flies and he falls out of the sky. Mm-hmm. So for those of you old school Elder Scrolls players,
everybody's thinking of Pee-wee's Big Adventure right now. Yeah. Francis.
Yeah, but that was kind of fun. But there would even in that scene there was one little moment that threw me off, and it's as the backpack is coming back down to the ground, and as it was landing, it was a really shoddy special effect.
Like it was on strings.
It looked like the birds from the movie not the birds, but was it Attack of the Birds?
The Birds?
No, not birds. It's a movie called Attack of the Birds, where it's like a really, really well known super
Birdemic. Didn't they make a Birdemic? Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
it was that quality.
Ian Ziering was like running away.
Yeah, it was that quality of graphic. And again, it's just these kind of little things that are popping up in this show that you don't associate with the Star Wars product. But
because it's been so polished since the prequels. That's what you're saying. Yeah. And these guys are really just going all in on trying to make it more original trilogy aesthetically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like with the aliens in the bar. They were totally going back to the way Mos Eisley and the Cantina looked in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally with your
practical
spiders.
Effects.
Yeah, practical effects. The creature design with the spiders was great. The salamander chick was pretty cool. It was funny. You know, the whole bit with Baby Yoda eating the eggs was really cute and funny.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, just really glad to see Baby Yoda doing something. Unlike Chapter 9.
I thought it was cute too when he's like, it's time to go to sleep, and him and the baby sleep in the cubby there together.
Yeah,
and he takes the baby with him. He's really getting attached to the baby.
Yeah, and
that's
the core of this show,
right? I mean, exactly. When this show's said and done, when they finally get to their destination for the child, you're really going to see this guy not want to give the child up.
Right.
He's going to have a fatherly attachment by the time we get there.
Yeah, and that's what's driving the show for me. But you know, again, like I
think it's what's driving the show for a lot of people.
Yeah. But the story, it's not there yet. They're not doing enough to move the ball forward on the big story.
So we understand why streaming networks are doing this. They want to keep their subscribers. Obviously, it's already in the books. The season's over with, but. Obviously, you prefer for seasons to just premiere in its entirety. I mean, going back to that whole when Stranger Things would debut, you had all of them. You binged it the full day. But obviously, then you probably got rid of the network after that, after the month.
Even so, not necessarily for some people would cancel their subscription, but I think for the most part, though, their loss month to month probably isn't that much. The bigger issue that a lot of people have talked about is. It's just when you binge it that first weekend and then it's out of the zeitgeist, something else replaces it. Whereas when you have the shows that are week to week, like a Game of Thrones drives the conversation for 3 months.
Keeps the merchandising sales going. Yeah. So, quite frankly, I mean, people that binge The Witcher, it's like you don't even hear about The Witcher. You're going to hear about it again when it comes back around.
Came and gone like that.
But you know what I mean? Yeah, that is the only thing about that. Just like, but like, you know, you've got The Mandalorian and like another example, The Boys. It's week to week and it gets a longer period of interest because of that.
Yeah. So, and the other one that did that really well was Watchmen.
Oh yeah, Watchmen. Okay. Watchmen. Yeah.
Really, I think Netflix might be the only thing left that's really that dumps everything at once.
I think maybe it's because they're in such a place now they don't have a problem coming up with a new show every month.
Yeah. And Disney is struggling with that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, you know, it sounds like I was down on this episode. I had a lot more fun with this episode than I did.
Yeah, I mean, they go and they search for the salamander and they end up back at the ship with all the spiders. It looks like there's no hope. The X-Wing guys come back and, you know, they save them, they bail them out, and they kind of read them the right there, and they kind of go over everything they found. But it was kind of like, we don't see you, you don't see us.
The one concern, one of the concerns I have with the show going forward is there seems to be like this formula for every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Flying somewhere or moving somewhere on a ship, stops. Help me!
That's the Lone Wolf and Cub.
I'll go do this. All right, here's my fetch quest. Here's my escort mission. Go, and then ship falls apart.
What else can you do with the wanderer, with the loner that kind of has this ultimate goal?
Yeah,
but you gotta pad it out.
You don't have a wanderer storyline.
Yeah,
you actually get to the story and develop that story. The central conflict is he's carrying around the next Jedi Master.
Mm-hmm.
That's the central conflict.
But it always seems like it gets kind of distracted.
Yes.
Yeah. And the only thing there to remind you is Baby Yoda going, yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess ultimately what's going on in the season is he's trying to find his people. He's not even trying to get Baby Yoda anywhere. He's just trying to find the other Mandalorians.
Yeah, that's kind of the other thing is that his interest seems to be very much into finding more Mandalorians at this point.
Yep. Yeah, because at the end of season 1, they all had to separate.
Exactly.
They all had to disperse. Yeah. So, so I guess they do kind of mention that a couple times.
I'm wondering if the armor is like a lot more like maybe a mother figure to him. I wonder just how close he is to the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, anything else stand out you wanted to touch up on?
It was only 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless we go minute to minute, play by play, there's not much more.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. You're going to like it if you have the network or if you have Disney Plus. But again, if you've already kind of settled into like, I want to binge it when it's all over, there's nothing about the last 2 episodes that's going to make me say, it's like, no, you got to get it and do it week to week.
Yeah, fun, but ultimately disposable.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but we'll be here every week.
Yeah, we'll be here. Yeah, we'll be here through to the end, and then WandaVision, baby, waiting for.
Yeah, you see, that's really the thing that we're both looking forward to. I'm very excited about WandaVision. Yeah.
So on that note, thanks for watching, and we'll be back here next Friday. Before that, you can see Jason and Waylon doing game night on Monday. Time somewhere around 6 to 7 Mountain Time.
Yeah, we're thinking we might do a new game this week.
So if you happen to be watching this outside of Arizona, Arizona does not do daylight standard time, so I have no clue what time zone we're in right now. Fall back. We should be.
We're in the time zone that never gets changed.
We're in Mountain right now. So
yes, we're in Mountain.
So it'll be about 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 6 or 7.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Monday night game night, and then Tuesday night is Figure Forum.
Yes.
With, again, Jason and Cecil. And then we look out for this weekend.
Wrestling Figure Forum.
Wrestling Figure Forum.
So they're not thinking it's about, figures. Right. It's Wrestling Figure Forum.
So Wrestling Figure Forum, the week in review. And then I'll be posting throughout the weekend 2 movie reviews, for my first movie reviews for a while. And that's going to be for Let Him Go and Come Play.
All right.
So
sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Jeff.
Jason.
Get on the bandwagon.
Happy trails.